Welcome back to the class, children, of Economics, Class 10, Chapter number 1, Development, Part 2. In this class, we will study about some of the important aspects like the national development and the comparison between the different countries or the states regarding the national development, the effect of the average income as well as its disparities. So let us start with the definition of national development. What do you mean by national development? National development refers to the ability of a nation to improve the lives of its citizens with the help of providing quality education, proper water, drinking water, transportation facilities, infrastructure, medical care, and so on. So as if till now we have seen that the individuals seek the different goals for their development. Then their notion of national development may be also different. And it is very important to keep in mind that the different persons could have the different as well as the conflicting notions of the country's development. Then if development means the different things, then how come some countries are generally called the developed and the other called the underdeveloped? So we will continue with the same topic, that how we justify the countries as in developed or the underdeveloped countries. For that, we need to compare the countries. So the important terms for comparing countries, there are the various categories like the purpose of comparing. Firstly, we will see that what is the reason, why do we need the comparison? And then the two important aspects have been given here, like the income aspect and the other criterias. So firstly, we will see that what is the purpose of comparing these countries. When we compare different things, they could have the similarities as well as the differences also. Let us take the example of your class itself. In your class, the students which are there, those are of different heights, different health, they have the different talents, and they have the different interest also. Now, the healthiest student may not be the most studious one, and the most intelligent student may not be the so friendly with everybody. So how do we compare the students? Here we take the different criterias. The criterion we may use depends on the purpose of comparison. Like if we use the different criteria to choose a sport team, then whom we will prefer? We will prefer the child who is good in physical activities or who is good in sports, not the child who is good in studies. And if we want to make a debate team, then ultimately we will select a child who is a good cramer or who can debate in a much better way. We don't want any sport person. So, and if we want the all-round person, a child who is all-round, then for that we may consider the various categories of the child, that he could be the good scorer, not the topper, but maybe the above average one. He should be the party, he should have been taken he should have participated in the sports activity also. He should have taken the participation in the various debates or the cultural programs or the various events. That child we can, and the creativity also. So that person, that child we can make as an all-rounder person. So when we select any category, then we divide the purpose for the team. In the same way, for comparing the countries, the most important aspect which has been taken, that is the income aspect, because the money is the main you can say the criteria for anybody's development, because as we did that the money as a material goal, it with the money we can purchase everything for our luxury life. So income has been taken the most important aspects, due to that for the country to be referred as a developed country. Now how the income? Usually we take one or more important characteristics of a person and compare them based on these characteristics. Now for comparing the countries, their income is considered to be one of the most important attribute. And the countries with the higher income are more developed than the others with the less income. And more income means more of all things that the human beings need. And whatever the people like and should have, they will be able to get with the greater income. So greater income itself is considered to be one of the important goal. Now, what is the income of the country? The income of the country is the income of all the residents of the country. And this gives us the total income of the country. If we calculate the income of every person of the country, that will give us the total income of the country. Now, however, for comparison between the countries, total income is not such an useful measure. Reason: since the countries have the different population, so comparing total income will not tell us what an average person is likely to earn, because every country is having the different population. So the country having with the less population, there ultimately the national income will come less. Then how you can define that the particular country is developed or not, or underdeveloped or not developed? So for that, the other criteria have been taken, that we compare the average income, which is the total income of the country divided by its total population. So what the criteria have been taken? Because the national income was not much suitable for measuring the development or the underdevelopment of the country. So the next step that was taken, that was the average income. Now what is average income? That is the total income of the country divided by total population. Average income is also called as an per capita income. So when the average income is asked, then you can define this in this way, that when average income is the total income of the country divided by its total population. It is also called as per capita income. Now, as we see the average income, now again we have, while the averages are useful for comparison, but they also have some disparities also, some problems also. Now, what are the various weaknesses or the limitations of average income? Let us explain with the help of example here. In your NCERT book, you can get this example from the page number 9, that the average income, they are useful for comparison, but they also hide some disparities. Now, what are those disparities? Let us consider the two countries here, A and B, and we have assumed that they have only 5 citizens. We are taking just an example based on the data given in the table 1.2. So they calculate the average income for both the countries. Country A, it is having the 5 people. The first people, it earns 9,500, second earns 10,500, third it earns, its income is 9,800, and the fourth has the 10,000, and the fifth has the 10,200. And country B, the first one earns the 500, second earn 500, third earn 500, and fourth earn 500, and the fifth earn 48,000. And how you will take out the average? You will calculate all the 5 divided by digit 5. You will get the average. And when you take out the average of country A and B will be same. Now both the countries, if the average is same, then ultimately both the countries, you will say that these fall in the same category. That means the developed or the underdeveloped, whatever the developing, whatever the criteria you put it. Then what are we looking here? We are looking that whether the people will prefer to live in country A or country B, although both the countries have the same average income. What do you assume? People will prefer to live in country A or country B? Ultimately, country A. Why? Because in country B, if you are placed as a citizen second or fourth, then what is your income? 500 only. But if you are placed as a citizen 5, then you will be happy because your earning is 48,000. But in country A, you could be placed in any of the category because the income difference is not much there, and you will be happy. So you will prefer to reside in country A. So this one you can explain in this way, that if we are assured of being its fifth citizen, where in country B, but if it is a lottery that decides our citizenship number, then perhaps most of us will prefer to live in country A. Even though both the countries have identical average income, country A is preferred because it has more equitable distribution. That means there the distribution is not having much differences. In this country, people are neither very rich nor extremely poor. On the other hand, most citizens in the country B are poor and one person is extremely rich. So, hence, while average income is useful for comparison, it does not tell us how this income is distributed among the people. So this is the biggest limitation of the many disparities which are hidden in this calculation of average income. Then too, the average income is taken as the main criteria, that is the income criteria to assume any country whether it is developed or underdeveloped or developing country. Now this criteria has been taken by whom? In the World Development Reports brought by the World Bank, the criteria of classifying the countries in the various forms. So the countries have been divided into three categories. Classification of the countries, that is per capita income criteria. It is done by the World Development Report given by the World Bank. The countries could be divided into three categories, that is a rich country, low middle income countries and the low income countries. Rich countries, which countries are referred as the rich countries? The countries which are having the earning of US dollar 12,236 per annum and above will be referred as the rich countries. Low middle income countries, the US dollar 1,840 per annum or more earning countries will be referred as the low middle income countries. And the countries who earn less than US dollar 1,005 per annum are referred as a low income countries, and our India lies in low middle income countries. So this is the classification of countries on the basis of per capita income criteria. Let us move back to the topic. What are the other criterias of comparing the countries? The other criterias are like the infant mortality rate, literacy rate, net attendance ratio and life expectancy. And this criteria you can make it as an non-material goals. And the income criteria was the material goal. Now, what do you mean by all these definitions? Infant mortality rate. Infant mortality rate indicates the number of children that die before the age of 1 year as a proportion of 100 live children born in that particular year. Literacy rate, it measures the proportion of literate population in the 7 and above age group. If the 7 or above age group, 7-year child, he is able to read and write, the person will be referred as a literate. Net attendance ratio, that is the total number of children of age group 14 and 15 years attending the school as a percentage of total number of children in the same age group. And life expectancy, that is the living aspect of the, as the birth donates, life expectancy at birth denotes that the name suggests average expected length of life of a person at the time of birth. The number of years the person lives, that is the life expectancy. Now on the basis of these, we calculate the comparison of the country, that is whether the country is developed or underdeveloped. And if we take the other criteria, that is the non-material goals, we see many of the countries who are not earning more, but they prefer the other criteria to show them as in developed countries.